One of the sport's freshest faces, the undefeated Elijah Garcia, no relation to Ryan, still has the word teen in his age for the next 4 days. He's looking to celebrate his 20th birthday early versus the Mexican-born Kevin Salgado, who is looking for his first victory on American soil. This matchup is scheduled for 10 rounds in the 160-pound division. The 25-year-old Salgado, who happens to be 13 years younger than his brother Juan Carlos, a former two-time titleist at 130 pounds. He does represent, Garcia's opponent represents the second consecutive lefty that Salgado has faced. He's coming off a first-round knockout against southpaw Gilberto Flores. He has 5 first-round KOs, and the win was noteworthy. Only in that Salgado weighed a career-high 167.25 pounds, which was 14 pounds more than he scaled for his previous bout against the then-unbeaten Joey Spencer, who handed Salgado his first loss via 10-round unanimous decision. Of course, we saw Spencer lose to Jesus Ramos, who happens to hail from the same state as this man, Elijah Garcia. And boy, what a revelation he proved to be when he earned his career best victory in March, blasting out the previously unbeaten Amilcar Vidal in the 4th round here on Showtime to announce his presence in the 160-pound division. He took this fight on only 49 days right after the last win, which by today's standards is incredible. And you know, he talks about wanting to become a champion by the age of 21. The way he's fighting twice in 7 weeks, this guy means it.
He sure does. Let's take a look at the numbers for these fighters. Now, Garcia has been a middleweight for virtually his whole career. And Salgado, even though, as Mauro mentioned, weighed much heavier in his last fight, he has fought most of his career at the 154-pound limit. So I think Garcia rightfully feels that he is the naturally bigger man in this fight. We'll see if that manifests itself.
And here are the rules for our fights tonight. In Nevada, only the referee can stop the contest. It is time to get the official introductions. Here's Hall of Fame ring announcer Jimmy Lennon Jr.
Ladies and gentlemen, a very good evening to you, and we welcome you to the T-Mobile Arena here in Las Vegas, Nevada, as Premier Boxing Champions presents this blockbuster night of action, coming your way and brought to you by GTD Promotions, TGG Promotions, Golden Boy Promotions, and Showtime Pay-Per-View. And we extend a special welcome to the brave men and women serving around the world and joining us tonight on AFN, the American Forces Network. And now we introduce our 3 judges scoring our opening attraction from ringside. From New York, Max DeLuca. From Nevada, Patricia Morse-Jarman. And from Oklahoma, David Sutherland. Introducing our 3rd man to the ring, the referee in charge of this bout, we have Robert Hoyle. All right, fans, here we go with a middleweight attraction scheduled for 10 rounds of boxing. Introducing to you first on my right, fighting out of the red corner, wearing dark blue trunks with gold trim. Hailing from Nicolas Romero, Mexico, he weighed in at 159.25 pounds. With a record of 15 wins, 1 loss, and 1 draw, he has 10 wins coming by way of knockout. Please welcome the hard-hitting, knockout-minded middleweight contender, Kevin Salgado. And his opponent across the ring, fighting out of the blue corner tonight, entering our ring wearing green trunks with gold trim, hailing from and representing his home of Whitman, Arizona. He weighed in at 159.25 pounds. He is undefeated in his campaign to the ring with a record of 14 wins, no losses, 12 wins coming by way of knockout. Please welcome the young undefeated southpaw and world-ranked middleweight contender, introducing Elijah Garcia.
Okay, guys.
Once again, a referee in charge is Robert Hoyle. now to give instructions.
All right, gentlemen. Okay, let's step back. Let's step back. Here we go. I want you to obey my commands and give me a good, clean fight. Any punches on the waistline here is good. Any punches here are good. Remember, when I say stop, I expect you to stop what you're doing, protect yourself at all times. All right, touch them up, scoot back.
Robert Hoyle is your referee, 13 years of pro experience, working his 142nd pro bout, better known as a judge, as it perhaps could be judgment day for either of these two youngsters. Garcia and Salgado ready to get it on for a scheduled 10 rounds at 160. And again, 19 years of age for the next 4 days, and here is Elijah Garcia launching a pay-per-view event. He told us that words cannot describe how excited he is, but he has been pure excitement between the ropes.
He has indeed. Now, among these two fighters, he is the more active fighter. He throws 65 punches around to 45 for Salgado. But we see early, Salgado understands he has to pump up the volume in this fight. He says, my whole career is at stake tonight.
There's a lead right hand curled around the high guard of Elijah Garcia. There's a nice straight right hand, and Garcia fires back with a combination of his own.
Oh, that's two beautiful right hands from Salgado, and that's a way to show that, yeah, he's in here to let go of his punches and to fight.
Salgado targeting the body early, wanting to make that early investment, hoping that it pays dividends in a beautifully crafted combination by Salgado. Right to the body, curled the left hook behind the guard of Garcia and caught him on the jaw.
Yeah, and that's something that Al mentioned about Salgado being too patient sometimes, especially against Spencer. He was waiting too long, and we're seeing right now in this first round that, you know, it's not going to be the case for this fight.
Garcia, southpaw, naturally right-handed. Coming up on the midway point of the first frame, and a good start for Kevin Salgado.
Salgado, normally 46% of his punches landed are body shots, and we just saw him throw a combination downstairs. You know, Garcia, early in the fight against Vidal, took some shots like this, and then, of course, came back with his own offense.
Garcia competing in his second scheduled 10-rounder. For Salgado, this is his fourth scheduled 10-round fight, so has a little more experience. The record's similar, 15-1-1 for Salgado. Again, winless in America. Wide punches, and that's the scouting report. Heavy-handed pressure fighter, but he throws wide power punches, and we saw evidence of that right there.
And you can tell right away, you can sense that Garcia is about to start pressing now, pushing Salgado back with that jab. And yeah, he could be a little bit of a slow starter, but and he's known for a body puncher, so when he's in the inside, he's got to let go of the body punches.
Yeah, and for his age, Al poised in the ring, aggressive, and has shown to be dedicated to the body as well, although Salgado has the more eye-catching body work in this round.
Yeah, he's a terrific body. They're both very good downstairs.
Let him go.
It may be basic, but that 1-2 combination split the guard of Garcia. Nice counter combination by Kevin Salgado. Came in as the B side, but an A in the first round. Great combination work.
Good job, Kevin.
Well, we'll take a look at what these men need to do. For Garcia, jab your way inside. You know, he lands 6 jabs per round. It also helps him get inside. And 3 fights ago, he scored 3 knockdowns with body punches, so he is a good body puncher. His uppercut helped him upset Amilcar Vidal. We'll see that punch tonight. Morrow alluded to the fact that for Salgado, he does throw wide punches, but not so much in round 1, so he corrected that. Garcia likes to come forward. Make him go back would be good for Salgado. And we saw the Salgado right hand in that first round. He threw it very straight and very well.
Round 2.
Both of these young fighters, athletes growing up. Garcia was a wrestler and a football player before turning to boxing, while Salgado, he was also an athlete who started in other sports before turning to the sweet science. Played soccer and basketball when he was young. Started at 14. Didn't have a lot of amateur experience.
And going back to the first round, that was a really good round, good start for Salgado. Now it's time to control that tempo. That's what he needs to do against Garcia, because it's just a matter of time before Garcia starts pressing. But Salgado just has to take control of the tempo and be first.
And when you turn professional at 16, Al, you don't expect that Garcia would have a lot of amateur fights as well, and he doesn't.
No.
Became a father and a professional fighter at the tender age of 16.
It's amazing. He's a very mature young man, both in life and in the ring. And no, the amateur experience, unlike Salgado, who was a champion amateur, as you point out. So we'll see how that impacts tonight.
And he also lives in a farm. I believe they said that Garcia lives in a farm, isolated from everyone. I mean, he's really about just boxing, this craft, and that's why he's so, determined to be a world champion at 21.
Chopping right hand by Salgado. Standing in front of each other. There's the southpaw lead left by Garcia, but he's been countered by Salgado, and Salgado lunges to the body, being told by referee Hoyle to keep it above the belt.
I mean, they were right in the line, but that's what you need to do. Salgado has to keep doing that, trying that there, letting off first, because Garcia right now is just throwing one punch at a time.
There's a right uppercut, a lead uppercut by Salgado, continues to just bash the body of Garcia.
Yeah, as we said, 44% of the punches he normally lands are body punches. So for him, that's vital.
But he could get those shots there quicker if he wasn't as wide. The straighter shot is the faster one, and while he's improved, there's still a lot of wide shots by Salgado. Beautiful angle, though. Beautiful footwork setting up that right hand.
Yeah, what a way to turn himself, put himself in a good angle for Salgado to let go of that right body shot. But again, the patience from Garcia, we've seen it before. But right now, taking some good shots.
Neither has been down as a pro. Lead right uppercut by Salgado.
I don't know what's going to happen the rest of this fight, but I'm going to tell you something.
Yeah.
This is the best I've seen Kevin Salgado fight as a pro, and his manager, Ursula Perez, said we will see the best Kevin Salgado, and I'm going to tell you, we are, however this fight goes the rest of the way, and it's been a good fight to this point.
I mean, all these last couple of fights have been experienced for Salgado, and you're seeing it today.
Leads with another right, goes downstairs with the right hand. There's a sweeping left hook by Garcia.
And these are good competitive rounds.
Things heating up here in our opening contest at 160 pounds. And as Al Bernstein alluded to at the end of the last round, a competitive confrontation.
Round three. Round three.
Round number 3. You see Garcia wearing the area code of his hometown of Phoenix, 602. And boy, Phoenix is rising definitely in the ring. David Benavidez coming off his career best win over Caleb Plant. We mentioned Jesus Ramos, who just beat Joey Spencer, of course, handed Salgado his first loss. And of course, Elijah Garcia, unbeaten, 14-0 with 12 knockouts, turns 20 in 4 days.
That's quite a story. In the Vidal fight, the first 2 rounds were pitched battle for Garcia. Then around the third is when he started to pick up the pace. We'll see if he picks it up here. Even though those first 2 rounds were competitive and exciting, you could make a case for Salgado winning them.
We just heard Michael Carbajal screaming in the desert with joy.
Oh boy, icon of Phoenix boxing.
And that's your fight right there, Garcia. If you're in the inside, you want to work the uppercuts and the body shots.
Clubbing body shot and a right uppercut that caught Elijah Garcia. And Garcia leaning in with his head and again gets caught with that body. So he goes downstairs, upstairs with the combination. Kevin Salgado, Al alluded to it, the best I have seen him fight, and we broke down a lot of tape looking at this, getting ready for tonight's fight.
I don't know about you guys, when I did the keys to victory, it never occurred to me to put uppercut in for Salgado. We didn't see any before.
Oh, there it is again.
To the body, right hand. Garcia countering.
Yeah, Garcia doing a little bit of waiting too long right now, too much. Letting Salgado get off first, and you give him that momentum, and it could be a long night.
Referee Hoyle saying accidental headbutt. Power shots from Salgado, thudding blows on the inside here at close quarters. Another left hook around the guard, right uppercut by Salgado. Great punch placement.
And look how he gets out of trouble, Salgado. He throws his punches, either he turns or he takes a step back.
And he's delivering everything with bad intentions, sitting down, maybe trying to bait Garcia, has himself on the ropes, and now comes forward.
You know, Garcia's, even though it's very early in this fight, what he would like now is one of his power punches to make a difference in this fight. And Salgado has a very good chin, so it's not going to be that easy to do that. But we'll see. He's got power puncher.
And Garcia, despite the fire coming from Salgado, does remain composed.
And another thing that Garcia hasn't been doing that was in the keys to victories, the jab. He hasn't been jabbing his way inside.
Yeah, you're right. Instead, he's just walking.
Yeah, he's again by Salgado.
He's walking right into those punches. He thinks he's blocking them, but a lot of those shots are getting in.
Another terrific round for Kevin Salgado.
And this is why we fight the fights. Well, we look back, and there was a moment that could have been a tricky one for either fighter. More so, it appears, for Garcia, because their heads clashed, and Garcia was a little concerned about that. And then here's Salgado going downstairs. That one ended up a little bit. That was where their heads banged together again. But in a round that otherwise Salgado got a lot of offensive work done. Maybe his best round of the fight, actually, and he's had a couple of good ones before that.
Garcia's dad, George, a 40-year-old former pro heavyweight who retired in 2007. His grandpa, George, also helping out in the corner as we begin round 4, scheduled for 10 in the 160-pound division. The undefeated Elijah Garcia against Kevin Salgado, who is 15-1-1, both known for their pop. And there's a straight left down the middle by the southpaw Garcia that landed on the nose of Salgado.
And this is when I start feeling old, Mo, is Garcia's dad, him and I, we used to be in the same training camp back in Mexico. Good friend of mine, and now he has his son fighting here.
And of course, Salgado wants to control that lead hand of the southpaw Garcia. Garcia missing with a sweeping right hook, and Salgado goes to the body like it's filled with candy.
Oh, I love pinata. If you're feeling old, Abner, then I'm definitely feeling old.
Hey, and one thing, we got to be impressed
from Salgado.
From what Salgado's been doing every round, something different every round. First round, he was throwing more. This last round, he was counter punching, and now you can tell he's sitting on his punches. He's waiting for the right moment. I mean, he's really fighting well in this fight.
Salgado told us he knows he's going up against a really strong opponent, but he also knows, and he said, I quote, "We can shock the world and surprise people," close quote. I think he surprised the Hall of Fame analysts thus far.
You know, he said he's fighting for his career tonight, and that's the way he's fighting. And, you know, this fight, of course, has a long way to go, but right now he's showing us how much he wants this fight, and he's doing what his manager said. He said, I believe Kevin can show you a better fighter, and he's doing that. And for Elijah Garcia, who has never been past 6 rounds, we got to start saying that, even though we're only in round 4. You know, he knows that he's in there being tested tonight.
Yeah, he hasn't really been able to let go of his punches, Garcia. We still haven't seen a full combination of his.
Lead left hook to the liver by Salgado. We saw the clash of heads, and there was another one there. Neither had been cut coming into this fight, but the way they're going at it, that could change.
Lefty-righty thing.
All right, I like that rhythm right now that Garcia is getting. He's got to get that rhythm. He's got to get his mojo right now, because I see him a little tense, tight.
Well, he's you know, kicking off one of the biggest pay-per-views of the year, now beginning to find a rhythm. Pulling back and gets countered, then pushes Salgado back, and Salgado felt that combination. Abner, you're right. It's now Elijah Garcia here with less than 30 seconds left in the 4th, beginning to build some momentum and rhythm.
You got to do something when you're a fighter and you can't find it. That's the way. You start bouncing. You start, like, you know, telling your body, all right, it's time to let them punches go, and I think that's what Garcia is doing.
He changed everything by fighting from the distance instead of walking in.
10 seconds.
And again, Salgado punctuates the round with a body shot.
Time.
Yeah, Elijah Garcia having a much better third round, and from a distance with the 1-2 combination. That's a different look than he had shown us in the first rounds. Instead of walking in with his hands up to try work on the inside, he said, let me try from the outside. And later in the round, the same kind of situation where from the outside, he's landing those punches. And look what he does. He doesn't stay in there. He gets out and says, okay, I'm better at range for this fight.
It's good. It's working. You have that water outside? Baby. Deep breath. Let's go. Seconds out. Now piece in.
5th round. Keep him up. I'll establish it again. Come on in. Right here. Right here. Okay? Let's go.
Round number 5 scheduled for 10 in the 160-pound weight class. Salgado proving to be, at this stage, Garcia's toughest exam. And again, Garcia still very much getting things started, but wants to be on the fast track, says he can handle it. Has acquitted himself very well in his last fight, and now facing some pressure, facing the toughness, the craftsmanship of Kevin Salgado, the body shots.
Yeah. You know, the interesting thing is when he fought Vidal, already ranked as a top middleweight. Oh, good.
That's combination by Garcia of the fight for him.
Nobody expected him to perform that way. He's in against a fighter who isn't as highly thought of as Vidal, and it's been a tough go.
But let's not forget, boxing is everything. It's all about adjustments, and Garcia's making it. The fact that he's bouncing out, finding this distance, jabbing a lot more going in. I mean, those are the things you want to see from a young fighter.
And yet Salgado remains committed to the body attack, and he's been committed since the opening bell. The boxing of Elijah Garcia now on display. Mid-range.
Keep him up. Keep him up. Keep him up. Okay,
and you know, Salgado took this fight, even though we know there wasn't much time either for Garcia to prepare for the last fight. Salgado took it on short notice as well. Concerns about the low blow from Robert Hoyle. He took it on 3 weeks' notice. They said he was training already, but you know, we'll have to see about his stamina.
Abner, you know anything about low blows in boxing?
Stop, oh, stop. Don't get us started.
By Salgado upstairs, and now at close quarters they did. There's an uppercut from Salgado.
Abner's just starting to like me now.
Stop. A minute left in the first half of the fight. Robert Hoyle calls time.
Come here. You got to keep your head up. Cabeza up. Be careful, okay? All right? Let's go. Keep it clean. Let's go. Time in.
Beautiful combination right there from Garcia from the distance. 1, 2, 3. And Garcia is doing the right thing, blocking those punches, staying out a good pace. There it is, letting those punches go and going back to his range.
Yep, you're right. Salgado now bouncing those punches off the high guard of Garcia. Garcia catching him on his gloves.
Salgado did something a moment ago that could be dangerous for him. He threw an uppercut from way back out, because remember he was landing those uppercuts before, but if you throw them from too far out, you're going to get countered.
So we have reached the end of the first half of the fight. Some fistic fireworks to close out the first 5 rounds between Garcia and Salgado.
Very interesting round for sure. And Garcia, again, using the feinting with the jab and then throwing these combinations. When Garcia is a combination puncher, normally he throws 65 punches per round, so he does throw a lot of combinations. Here is where that punch strayed low, and it was a teensy bit below the belt line. And Robert Hoyle, you know, going to give Salgado a warning about it. And that was where their heads clashed as well. And, you know, Robert Hall wants to make sure the fight is, well, now that one you got to put on Salgado because he was coming in like a billy goat. That wasn't apparent when it was in regular motion.
Don't forget about your jab. Keep working the jab. This is about the 5th round. 6. And keep your hands up.
Salgado's trainer is Charlie Martinez. His brother Juan Carlos is an assistant as we begin the second half of this scheduled 10-round attraction. In the middleweight division, undefeated Elijah Garcia turns 20 on April 26th. 14-0 with 12 knockouts against Kevin Salgado, who bounced back from his first pro loss in his last fight and has acquitted himself well in this fight. How well? Well, let's find out from our unofficial scorer, Steve Farhood. How do you have it after 5, my friend?
Mo, I have it 3 rounds to 2 for Salgado. I thought he clearly won rounds 1, 2, and 3 when Garcia looked very robotic. Ever since, Garcia's looked very loosey-goosey, just the opposite. And I gave him rounds 4 and 5. So at the halfway mark, I have it 48-47, Kevin Salgado, with Garcia having the momentum.
Yeah, and let's not forget that Garcia just fought, 9 weeks ago. I mean, he's constantly fighting, and that could take a toll also, you know, staying in camp, overtraining yourself, and I sense a little bit of that in the beginning.
And Garcia just caught Salgado on the chin with 2 right hooks. Well, we know Garcia loves to go to the body as well, but has been more of a headhunter here against Salgado. And as you guys have mentioned, the fight hasn't really been able to establish the jab much, but when he has been able to, that's when he's had success.
Absolutely, from range. You know, Salgado normally lands only 23% of his punches. Tonight, he's landing, 36%. So that's why we're saying he's doing better. Now, we know Garcia's gotten some momentum here in these rounds now. And it's going to be up to Salgado, if he wants to stay in this fight, to turn the momentum.
Nice 3-punch combination landed by Garcia, and just landed another combination, averaging 71 punches around coming into this fight, and hasn't been that active, but beginning to pick up the pace.
Oh, is he picking it up? Garcia definitely letting those combinations go, and now working the body as well. Salgado just staying at a distance right now, not letting off any punches. And you know, something that he was doing good in the beginning was that he was getting out first.
Salgado, to be honest, looks tired.
And you wonder now if Garcia might be trying to set a trap. His right hand is very low. And Salgado going for that right uppercut, got connected and countered by Garcia. So definitely a switch in momentum. Elijah Garcia beginning to use his boxing and beginning to put the pressure and walk down Salgado.
Yeah, but again, like Mo said, Al mentioned, Salgado's throwing that uppercut from too far.
10 seconds. No, not
good start to the
not
second half of the fight by Elijah Garcia.
More combination work from Garcia. We've seen this in the last several rounds. Putting his hands together, as we said, he's normally the bigger volume puncher and normally more of a combination puncher than Salgado. And that was impressive work, because when Salgado thought he was out of harm's way, he got hit by Garcia. So there's just an excellent example of the combination work again by Garcia, who, like in the Vidal fight, took a few rounds to get his rhythm.
He let his hands go. He's trying. Yeah, he don't want to let you throw. You got to let your hands go. You got to make them work, okay? All right. You got to in and out, in and out. Put the punches together, man.
In and out, or as the notorious B.I.G. would say, Abner, stick and move, stick and move. That's what Elijah Garcia's father wants him to do. And hey, give me the loot while you're at it as we begin round 7. And there's definitely been a shift, an adjustment made by Garcia, Al.
No question. And this is a round that Garcia has never seen before. But he goes into it with this momentum. So let's see how he does. And Salgado has been not as active in the last few rounds.
Yeah, taking a lot of clean shots from Salgado.
That was a creative combination by Garcia. The lead right uppercut, straight left connected on Salgado. And now leading with the left hand. And it's Salgado on the back foot now, coming forward. Not as fluid.
No, I'm sensing, a little bit of tiredness from Salgado. Being pushed a lot easier from Garcia, and he's noticing that. And
Steve Farhood, our unofficial scorer, is noticing it as well. Now even.
That was the first combination to the body we've seen from Salgado in a while, just a moment ago. Because right in here is the geography Salgado wants. He wants to be just off the chest of Garcia.
And Garcia's getting the best of these exchanges now. On the inside, Salgado digging to the body. Garcia has more snap on his shots.
No, Garcia is also good in the inside, and he's really good when he lets go of the body shots, which I still haven't. I mean, there's a few, but he's got to let him go.
Wow. Time. You got to keep him up. You got to keep him up. 1 point, low blow. 1 point, low blow. 1 point, low blow. Senor, Kevin, cuidado cabeza. Keep your punches up, okay? Okay, I want a clean fight. Let's go. No retaliation. Keep it clean.
Salgado and his camp think the boos that were resonating throughout the arena were lower than the shot that he threw at Garcia.
In defense of Robert Hoyle, he has warned Salgado a number of times, so it's not like he did that out of the blue.
Watch the head.
And now, of course, Salgado facing yet another hurdle to point deduction here.
A minute left in the 7th. The first 5 rounds, Kevin Salgado came out with some of the best combinations and one of his better performances to start a fight. But in the second half of the fight, Elijah Garcia, the 19-year-old, is coming on strong and beginning to put all the pressure and the combinations on a tiring Kevin Salgado.
Yeah, and every time that Salgado throws a combination or a punch or two, Garcia does a really good job of avoiding those punches. Great head movement, and great head movement from Garcia there.
Yeah,
great
Salgado
defense.
Did not use great head movement, got clocked with a beautiful combination by Garcia. Again, neither fighter has been down as a pro. Well, both continue to accrue valuable experience. Uncharted waters for Elijah Garcia as we head to round number 8. That hook to the body staggered Salgado.
Well, this is where in the last round, Robert Hoyle, who had warned Salgado a number of times, took a point away. That one was, close to the belt line. Let's see if there's another one here. No, it was that one for sure. So, was it low? Wasn't it low?
The boos were lower, Al.
Yeah. And later on in the round, Garcia, even though he was in closer range, still throwing great combinations, and he does have very good hand speed and is a good combination puncher.
All right, get your second win now. Let's go. And remember the combinations. You can't just stay, throw 1 and 2. You got to go all out. Let's go. This is your opportunity. Let's go and do it. You can do it.
8 rounds.
Round number 8 scheduled for 10. Kevin Salgado's older brother Juan Carlos in his corner. They are hoping that he will find his second wind, and he comes out trying to take the wind out of Garcia's sails.
Yeah, the problem for Salgado is twofold. One, that was a 10-8 round, that last round, which might put him farther around. And also, the second thing is he needs to still go to the body, but he has to be concerned about another point deduction. And so it's a kind of a conundrum for him.
And one thing that Salgado tried to do early in the round, but he stopped right now, is that he was trying to turn the southpaw in Garcia, and that's something he needs to continue to do because he was finding something. He was finding really good shots when he pivoted.
Yeah, and Garcia winning that lead foot battle, keeping his lead foot to the outside of Kevin Salgado, and peppering him upstairs. Salgado comes back with a combination, which his corner would love to see more of.
The other punch Salgado went away from was the left hook, which was landing in those first 3 rounds. He hasn't thrown it as much.
And now he's becoming a stationary target for Elijah Garcia, who's showcasing his craftsmanship here in round 8.
And we got to understand, this is not the same Salgado from the early rounds. Garcia really got, really take it to him. And Salgado's power and stamina has gone low.
We're learning something about Elijah Garcia too. Great combination there, but he had some problems early against Vidal, and then came on. He's doing the same thing in this fight, so he's that kind of fighter apparently, who might give away a couple rounds, but finds his rhythm in a fight.
Straight left hand lands for Garcia, and Salgado came back with a right cross.
And Salgado's landed some good shots in this round. He's actually done some better work than he's done in the last 4 rounds.
Double jab. There's a left uppercut by Garcia. Garcia continues to up the output, getting closer to his average coming in of 71 punches a round.
Yeah, he's standing right in front of Garcia. Salgado has to turn him. Turn to his left against the southpaw.
Shoots the jab from the hip, does Garcia. Salgado again continues to deliver power shots, but missing. Misses with the left uppercut. So Elijah Garcia getting the necessary rounds in. He's about to go to round 9 for the first time, the penultimate round of our opening 10-round bout. And Asians, round 9.
Garcia did very well in that last round. However, I personally think he looked a little fatigued toward the end of that round. Let's see if it manifests itself. Again, these are rounds he's not been in. And we know Salgado showed some signs, but toward the end of that last round, Salgado was doing a little bit better. We'll see.
I think there's a round where Garcia needs to pressure a little bit more, especially sensing that Salgado's already dead tired. You got to press. You really just got to drown him in the inside.
It's like Garcia has Salgado's power down to 1 bar, and he stole his charger. But Salgado trying to stand his ground, but getting tagged upstairs.
Yeah, Garcia is throwing a lot of punches here, so my conjecture may be wrong about the tiredness.
First minute gone here in the 9th.
You got to give it to Salgado too. He's been taking a lot of shots, good shots too. And Elijah's, he's got power in his hands. 12 knockouts out of 14 fights.
And he's still, according to show stats, has the edge in total power punches landed. Garcia doubling him up in jabs. I mean, it's been competitive, but there's definitely been a switch. The first half of the fight, great start by Kevin Salgado, but here in the second half, Elijah Garcia has come on strong.
And Salgado's been 10 rounds 3 times. He's won 1-1 in that period. But in this fight, he's taken some punishment here. And these last rounds have not gone well for him.
You remember, Salgado still looking for his win. First win on American soil, 0-1-1, and a lot of people thought the draw against Brian Perella should have gone Perella's way. Another southpaw, by the way.
A moment ago, Salgado got a good right hand in, but he's not able to move Elijah Garcia with those rights.
Yeah, and he was able to land those right hands when he was timing Garcia. He would wait for Garcia to throw one punch, but now it's not a Garcia with one punch. It's a Garcia that throws a lot of punches. And it's harder to time a guy that, is throwing more than one punch.
So for the first time in his burgeoning career, Elijah Garcia. We'll see the 10th and final round. Salgado continues to go to the body. Final 3 minutes on deck.
3-4 punches. That's what we need from you. Come and breathe. Come on, he's tired already. Let's go. You can do it. You have to do 3 or 4 punches. Everything. Put all the force in here. Jab and then the right hand. You need those combinations. Any way you can. This is the last round. Let's go.
Hard, man. You gotta go hard. Let's go. Jab the body to the head. Just do it over and over. Hard ones, okay? It's the last round. Okay, you gotta go. Yes. You're down, bro. You're down. You gotta go. You're down. You stabbed him with the thing. Oh, no, you stabbed him with that. Let's go. Okay? Let's go. Let's go. Get down.
Hey, your father knows you better than anybody. A little reverse psychology from George Garcia, maybe, but maybe not. It's been that kind of fight with the first 5 rounds. A great start for Salgado. The last 4 rounds, we've seen Garcia come back, but Garcia's dad says, hey, you're down. So he wants to see more out of him here in the final 3 minutes.
Yeah, and a reminder that round number 7 is a 10-8 round for Garcia. But, you know, again, we don't know how the judges are seeing it. And while Garcia has made a good comeback, Salgado did do some good work as well. So we'll see.
Is this the part of the broadcast where we have to put the disclaimer in about judging, Al?
Yes, and we have seen some of it recently that is a little strange.
Egregious, to say the least.
Salgado coming back with a couple of right hands.
He's off to a good start in this round.
Yeah, this is a good, important round for Salgado. Obviously, if those rounds are, a few rounds were close, you know, you want to close a fight like this. And if you're Garcia, you got to listen to your dad and just go out and let them punches go.
Well, now Salgado coming on, final 2 minutes. He says his career hinges on this fight. Well, he has to let it all out here with under 2 minutes left in the fight. Jab from Salgado. And good defense by Garcia, avoiding the shot and flashing the jab to the face of Salgado. Salgado goes to the body with a lead left hook to the liver.
We're seeing a little bit of what we saw in the first round from Salgado. The punches, 1, 2, 3, getting out. Combinations letting out first.
The problem, I think, is that Garcia is controlling the geography still, which is him at range. And when he does that, he's a little more effective. But
yeah,
we'll see.
when he does that, yes.
But Salgado could be eking out a win in this round, maybe.
Nice lead left hook to the body by Salgado. Now he's popping that jab out from the hip. Up jab from both of them in this fight. And now Salgado, who hasn't really sat down on his punches a lot in this fight, trying to come forward there. Under a minute left in this scrap.
And you know, Salgado has thrown about 16 more punches in this round, so he's been more active than Garcia. And you know, this Salgado jab, which was in mothballs for 4 rounds, has emerged again, which has helped him in this round.
And it's interesting that the punch output has increased as the fight has gone on. And here now, a bit muted though for Garcia, which in the last round he threw 74 punches. Here we are, less than 30 seconds left. He's only thrown 34 in this round and has been credited with landing 10.
Yeah, it's a round he's never seen, and Salgado more used to going 10. And in this 10th round, Salgado's had himself a generally pretty good round, even though Garcia's done some good work.
Yeah, it's pretty close round, this one.
And now Garcia got stopped by the counter from Salgado, and they're throwing leather. The bell. So, going the distance for the first time, 19-year-old Elijah Garcia against the tough Kevin Salgado, who has bounced back in his last fight from his first loss. Also has a draw on his ledger.
A fun ending to what was a very interesting and competitive fight. And that man, Kevin Salgado, against Garcia, redeemed himself, I think, with that last round by showing that he was still capable of creating offense.
Oh, I thought he won the last round.
Yeah, I agree. Let's look inside the ropes and see this fight in microcosm. And it is a tale of 2 boxing matches. Early on, it was Kevin Salgado in the first 3 rounds of this fight. Even though Garcia did do some good work, it was Salgado who was more consistent with his punching. He landed body and head shots. Here he goes downstairs, though that one was a bit low. And then Garcia in the middle rounds was able to come back, fighting at range and throwing combinations. And did excellent work and really controlled from round 4 or 5 on. And as he continued to rake him over the coals, as Garcia raked Salgado over the coals, a key moment was also the point deduction in round 7. And now let's check out show stats powered by Fast Twitch. As we look at the numbers, overall, not a giant differential. And part of the reason is because Salgado did so well in those early rounds. But boxing scored round by round. And you look at the body punches landed. You expect Salgado to have the edge there a little bit, even though Garcia is a good body puncher. Both men landing their power punches in the 40%. That's very good. So we'll see.
Yeah, well above the 29% show stats average in the body department. Both of them do well in that area.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 10 rounds of action, the judges are in agreement. We have a unanimous decision. Here are the score totals. Judge at ringside, Patricia Morse-Jarman, scores about 95-94. Judges David Sutherland and Max DeLuca both scored about 97-92 in favor of the winner of the WBC Latino and WBA Intercontinental titles, and still undefeated, Elijah Garcia.
Well, Elijah Garcia took some early birthday bumps, but he will get to celebrate his 20th birthday in 4 days with a perfect record intact. Now 15-0, forced to go the 10-round distance for the first time in his embryonic career. Let's go up to Jim Gray.
All right, Mauro, thank you very much. Elijah, congratulations. You had a bit of a slow start. What adjustment did you make there in about the 4th round?
You know, I was standing a little too still, trying to fight on the inside. He's a tough opponent, 100%. He was real tough, real strong, and I just had to move, just move, box a little bit. So, but other than that, it was a good hard 10 rounds I did, and I give my opponent 100% props. He's tough.
Elijah, you fought just 49 days ago, and this is the furthest you've ever gone into these many rounds, 10 rounds. How's your stamina, and how did you manage to have the ability not to become fatigued?
You know what? I stayed in shape 100%, back-to-back camps, and not only that, but I made boxing my lifestyle, so I'm always in the gym, always eating good, doing the best I can. Stay healthy.
You've told us you want to be a champion by age 21. You're going to have your 20th birthday here in 4 days. Happy birthday coming up. What do you have to do between now and this next year to obtain that championship?
Just continue getting better in the gym every single day. That's what it's about. Clearly today, I learned a lot today. It's my first time going over 6 rounds. I got a full 10, and the fights like this will get me closer.
Elijah, you got a big future. Appreciate your time.
Say something, please. I want to give everything, all this glory to Jesus Christ, my Lord and Savior. He makes it happen. He's my Father, and without Him, any of this is possible. So thank you, Father God. And another thing, I want to say happy birthday to Charlie. And I want to say thank you to all these, all these beautiful people, all these fans. I'm gonna continue to get better every single day, and go Raiders. I see Mark Allen back there, big Raider fan. Go Raiders, baby.